everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Magical Jill, and today me and my husband are bringing you another Pokemon video. It's gonna be super cool. Today we have top 5 grossest Pokemon with the grossest Pokedex entries.
There's going to be quite a few of them, and some of them I genuinely did not expect before reading this, because I guess I don't have all the Pokedex entries memorized, believe it or not. I'll work on it, though.
You're supposed to. You're not a true fan.
I'm sorry. But before we hop into it, if you enjoyed today's video on Jill's channel, we do other Pokemon videos, we also do collectible reviews, and all kinds of other stuff. So, if you enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Trying to push towards 1,000 subscribers, and then, kind of get towards getting the watch time to get this channel off the ground and get it going, so we appreciate you very much.
Yeah, we're very excited for it, and I love making videos like this. So, without further ado, what's the first Pokemon on the list? Number 5!
So the first one is actually Darumaka. This Pokemon also has the, I guess I would say, accolade or accomplishment of not having its Pokedex entry changed across basically 3 generations if we're looking at Pokemon X, White, and Omega Ruby. Darumaka's droppings are hot, so people used to put them in their clothes to keep themselves warm.
So they were putting poop in their clothes.
Yeah, droppings are poop.
That is so gross, isn't it? Oh my gosh.
So people in cold climates, basically, who were cold, would take Darumaka poop, and they'd be like, this is nice and warm, nice warm rock, or whatever they thought it was. Or they would just know it was poop, and they'd put it in their pocket and be like, yes, a portable heater.
I can understand maybe putting it in your fireplace, but like putting poop in your pants and stuff is not only unhygienic, but also disgusting.
Yeah, well, I guess it really fits that. I think there was a Pokemon entry at one point, it was really controversial about how certain Pokemon and humans used to get married, or they would have, they would eat dinner at the same table, like got kind of translated to.
Oh.
So it kind of makes sense that maybe if there are people with Pokemon fetishes, there must be someone with a Pokemon poop fetish.
Oh my.
And therefore, Darumaka is the Mon for them. I think it's kind of funny too, because if you think about it, no matter what you do with that thing's poop, if you're burning it, you're inhaling the fumes of its poop.
You are inhaling poop fumes, yes.
And if you're walking around with its poop in your pocket, I would think that would smell bad.
It would? Wouldn't it? You'd think it would smell bad. I don't know. I mean, I guess some Pokemon have, poop that smells like grass or whatever.
Yeah, you just kind of have to wonder what it's actually made of, if it would stink as bad as human poop.
It depends on what they eat, I think.
I suppose. But I would not want to put the poop of the next Pokemon in my pocket.
Number 4! The next Pokemon we have on the list is Scumtank. So I'm sure you guys probably all saw this one coming. Scumtank is probably pretty gross. In its Pokedex entry in Diamond, it says, it sprays a vile-smelling fluid from the tip of its tail to attack. Its range is over 160 feet. So, most skunks in real life, their smell comes out of their bumbo area. And I imagine that they probably were thinking when they made Scumtank about the same thing, except that it's so child-friendly that they had to say it comes from the tip of its tail.
Yeah.
But it's pretty gross to, have a disgusting, bodily fluid from a skunk sprayed on you from 160 feet away.
It's crazy, too, because last time my buddy Nate over on my channel set a record, and he sprayed disgusting, vile fluid from himself onto someone from 160 feet away. He was actually escorted to prison almost, so...
That's how he earned his nickname Scumtank.
Yeah, exactly. Nate, that's a joke. I'm putting this in here so you can't sue me if we ever have a falling out. Scumtank is really disgusting, though, in general. I mean, it's just one of those Pokemon that you would not want to get close to.
It's one of those Pokemon I wouldn't even really want to catch, to be honest.
No, it just seems like a disaster waiting to happen. And also, it's not nearly as cute as an actual skunk in real life.
Yeah, real skunks are really cute. Scumtank is kind of icky.
Plus, it has some kind of weird, not to make this political, almost Orange Man haircut going on. You know what I mean? It's got the big, huge overhang haircut.
Kind of like Young Goose.
Up there. Yeah, like Young Goose. And it just seems like some of these guys were taking maybe some inspiration from the 2016 presidential election or something for their haircuts. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with the design of this Pokemon, but either way, it just smells bad.
Speaking of an absolute disaster, we have the next Pokemon here. Number 3! So, Muck is definitely on this list. I'm sure a lot of you probably saw that one coming too. Muck is quite the Ickus McDickus, as I like
He's
to call
also
him.
on the list of Pokemon that if you spell his name backwards, all of a sudden you're in for a world of problems.
Oh my. So, I'm sure all of you pretty much know what Muck looks like. I'm showing a picture here anyway. He's like kind of this weird, gooey, disgusting thing. And in Pokemon Red and Blue, it says, for his Pokedex, thickly covered with a filthy, vile sludge. It is so toxic, even its footprints contain poison.
Mm-hmm. And if it's anything like you when you don't shower for a few weeks, we know what being covered with a vile sludge is like, right, Jill?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I definitely know how that's like. And, you know, because Muck is so disgusting, I actually have a lot of Pokédex entries for him.
Uh-oh.
Because he is so gross. So one of the others that he has is, for Pokemon Yellow, it says, he smells so awful it can cause fainting. Through degeneration, he lost his sense of smell. And then in Silver, it says, its body is made of a powerful poison. Touching it accidentally will cause a fever that requires bed rest. So he is so disgusting that he will cause you a fever.
And imagine people like hang out with Muck and they play games with, like, they will catch Muck and fight with it.
I want to, like, be 10 feet away from that thing at all times.
Well, this also calls into question whether or not all of these Pokedex entries are actually factual.
That's true.
Because we've seen before a lot of them are exaggerated or even
retconned,
fabricated
yeah.
or retconned. It's also weird to me how different Muck and Grimer are in the anime compared to, like, these games.
They're very similar in the games to me.
But in the anime, no, what I mean is, like, in the anime, people are hanging out with Muck just fine. Someone can get a hug from a Muck or a Grimer, it's no problem.
Uh-huh.
But in the games, it's like you come within 12 feet of this thing, you look at it wrong, and you're going to be covered in sludge in the hospital.
Yeah, you're gonna be dead with a fever of stink.
Yeah.
And then in Pokemon Crystal, this is one of the last Pokemon entries I have. As it moves, a very strong poison leaks from it, making the ground there barren for 3 years.
That's crazy. So you could basically unleash a bunch of Mucks on a small country, like if the United States was in this,
And ruin their farmlands.
I genuinely believe that if the U.S. was in this continuity, they would just get a whole army of Mucks and they'd strategically drop them on the farmlands.
They just put a U at the end of the name and call it Mook.
Oh, no.
Like instead of Nuke.
Oh, my. Okay, I get it. I was worried they were going somewhere else with that.
And then for the last Pokédex entry for Muck, in Pokemon Ruby, from Muck's body seeps a foul fluid that gives off a nose-bendingly horrible stench. Just one drop of this Pokemon's body fluid can turn a pool stagnant and rancid.
By the way, if obviously the rules of the Pokemon universe are different than ours, it makes you wonder what Muck is actually made out of.
And it also makes you wonder what he's eating.
What is he eating, and also what is this fluid? Because, it's... In real life, when something has a disgusting odor, a lot of the times, unless it's a defense mechanism of an animal, a lot of the times it means it is full of bacteria or decaying things or things that are very bad for you. So it makes you wonder, like, what is Muck actually fully composed of?
And why do people like him so much?
Yeah, why do people want to be around him?
I don't want to be around him.
It also is sad because, like, I think there's a lot of examples of friendly Grimer and Muck, and they're not trying to be mean, but they're so gross and so toxic to people that you have to think that's also kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like, if you were a trainer and you had a Muck and he was your best friend, you couldn't give him a hug.
No. I wonder what would happen if you gave Muck a bath.
Oh my, he might just go right down the drain.
Or do you think the water would just become so icky that it'd become a part of him?
Probably that.
Okay. Number 2!
Jill and I had a small debate on this next one on whether it's Garb Odor or Garb Odor. I'm not really sure.
I think it's Garb Odor because garbage odor.
But either way, this is one of my least favorite Pokemon designs of all time, first off. Before I even read the entries, I hate this Pokemon. It's just trash in every sense of the word, including literally.
I don't like this Pokemon either. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the poison types because of how icky they are.
I like some of the poison types, but this is just not... It's not doing it for me. The Pokemon Black Pokedex entry says that Garbodor clenches opponents with its left arm and finishes them off with foul-smelling poison gas belched from its mouth.
So it burps on you to hurt you.
It picks you up with its left arm, it holds you up to its face, and it burps toxic fumes into your face.
Isn't that disgustingly horrific?
That's pretty
That's
messed
like
up.
the kind of thing you'd see like a horrible bully do in a kid's movie or something.
A horrible bully.
Yeah!
In Pokemon Sword, it says, this Pokemon eats trash, which is like really fitting in my opinion, which turns into poison inside its body. The main component of the poison depends on what sort of trash was eaten. By the way, I have seen some stuff with that where it's actually a positive use of this Pokemon where it can actually help the environment in the world of Pokemon by dissolving trash.
That's actually pretty good, yeah.
So unlike in our world where we just burn it and then it ruins the atmosphere and we all breathe it in.
Or it
we're all
ruins the
stupid.
ground because we bury it.
Yeah, because we're all dumb.
Or it ruins the ocean because we put it in the ocean.
Exactly. In here, that Pokemon can just take care of it. So that's a positive with this little guy.
That's true.
But the Shield Gigantamax entry says it sprays toxic gas from its mouth and fingers. Let me point out, by the way, that means it must have like little small holes on its fingers to shoot out little like gas.
Ew,
Little
like
gas,
pores.
like, secretion. If the gas engulfs you, the toxins will seep all the way down to your bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that one was kind of a doozy. Do you think that, like, you'd have to shower multiple times to get the stink off of you? Do you think you'd stink for days after that?
I think if it went all the way down to your bones, it would either kill you or you would stink forever.
Oh my.
So I would be avoiding...
I would just get a new body at that point.
I would be avoiding this Pokemon, I could tell you that.
At all costs, especially Gigantamaxed. Number 1! Yay! Number 1! Woo! So for this final entry, you wouldn't think that this Pokemon was all that gross, but Cub Chew is pretty gross.
Pretty cute, too.
In Pokemon Sword, when this Pokemon is in good health, its snot becomes thicker and stickier. It will smear its snot on anyone it doesn't like.
It's like a little kid.
I'm just not a big fan of boogers in general. I find them to be extremely disgusting. And I feel like even though they're not nearly as bad as, like, Darumaka's poop in your clothes, I think that the snot is pretty gross, right? I feel like he deserves to be on this list.
It's still definitely gross. I think the reason... When we do top fives, we don't always do, like, least to biggest. Sometimes we do, but in this case, it's like they were all just gross.
Yeah.
So when it came down to it for this one, I think the reason this made number 1 is because of how unexpected it is.
It is, because he looks like such a cute little Pokemon, you know, and you wouldn't expect, like, a little snot drip to be so powerful, because
I thought it was just water or ice at first when we saw him.
Because in some of the other games, like Pokemon X and Omega Ruby, it says that its nose is always running. It sniffs the snot back up because the mucus provides the raw material for its moves. So it's like super snotty, and its snot is like the basis for its ice moves. So when you think about it, instead of normal ice that it's throwing at you, it's snot ice.
It's throwing frozen snot. Ew.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of that.
I am not a fan of that either.
Yeah, this thing is really gross despite what it appears as. It's very odd to me, though, because it would be like telling me that Charmander is disgusting. You know, because it's just this cute little thing. But then, it, you know, obviously in this world, looks are very deceiving. I mean, we've also seen Larvatars are supposedly capable of destroying a mountain on their own.
An entire mountain. Yeah. I think that's very, very funny. It's very interesting to see how, you know, there's some expected Pokemon, but then there's also Pokemon like Cub Chew where you just kind of don't expect it, but they like to throw their frozen snot at you, and it's disgusting.
Just like our previous list that you made, which was the darkest Pokedex entries, which there's going to be more of, I'm sure, in the future.
That was a really good video. I want to do a part 2 at some point soon. I really enjoyed doing that video a lot.
So if you liked this video, be sure to check that one out. It's the 5 darkest Pokedex entries. Some of the Pokemon on there I think you would also not really expect to be so tragically depressing.
Yeah, some of them are really, really sad. So I hope you guys go check that out and maybe leave a like and subscribe. And maybe you could talk in the comments about some Pokemon that you like, what your favorite Pokemon, stuff like that. Which Pokédex entry did you think was the most shocking on this list? Just leave some comments for me, because I love when you guys talk to me. Before you all leave, I wanted to mention I have this awesome website called enchantedglamour.com, enchantedglamor.com. It is the website where I put all of my art. I put things that I've created, like jewelry and resin creations and lots of other really awesome stuff. So I'd love for you guys to go check it out because it's really, really cool. I'm trying to grow that business. It means a lot to me, and you guys mean a lot to me. So if I can put two things that mean a lot to me together and make like a whole big ball of meaning a lot to me, that would be great.
It's like a nice sandwich. But the thing with that is also it's magicaljill.com.
Yes, also magicaljill.com.
It's too complicated because I forget how to spell. And I will say that with that too, we do a lot of really interesting projects over there too. So for example, one thing we do is we kind of search through old bookstores that sell secondhand books and thrift stores, ones that are clearancing out to throw away old comic books. And we take those comic books that are damaged and we give them new life by turning them into something new. So we make resin coasters or keychains or other things. Or trays. Yeah. So there's plenty of stuff with that we make that I think is really cool.
And it saves them from going in a landfill because we don't have Garb Odor to eat them.
Or Garb Odor.
Or whatever you call him.
Trash Man.
Trash Man's not around in our world to eat trash. So I will take these things that people are throwing away and create beautiful pieces of art with them. And if you want to support Cleaning the Earth and support me and keep the lights on my channel, please definitely go take a look on my website because it means a lot to me. Press like on my Instagram reels about it. Maybe press like on this video. You have no idea how much that stuff helps.
So we appreciate you very much and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.